Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. Just wanted to share some quick thoughts. Since the trade went down on Friday afternoon, the New York Rangers have traded away Captain Jacob Trouba for a fourth round pick and Anaheim for the fourth round pick, as well as Umo Marsh. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. First of all, um, too bad it couldn't happen during the summer. I think with this recent stretch of really god awful, unwatchable play from the crappy blue shirts. This was clearly hanging over the team's head, as well as the Igor contract extension, which I'll mention in a minute. Listen, he's been a part of the team for 6 years. He was part of the core that went to the conference finals 2 out of the last 3 years. But at the end of the day, I mean, his skill set. I mean, he was basically, in my personal opinion, he was overrated and overpaid. He was just basically an enforcer. He really didn't do much offensively. Even the last couple of years, I felt like he was a culprit of a lot of bad plays, a lot of bad defensive breakdowns that resulted in crappy goals. And it was just getting to the point where, for a captain, I know a couple of years ago he held a players only meeting um, back in the 2022-2023 season when the Rangers were getting off to a subpar start, and then afterward the team did start to pick up their play. So I will admit that that was cool what he did. He did some good things. Also, as a Ranger fan, him knocking out Crosby in the playoffs a couple of years ago. That that was cool. Well, okay, let me just say this: I don't wish ill will or harm on any player, but let's just say Ranger fans don't like Sidney Crosby. So that would play the key factor in us, prevailing over the Pittsburgh Penguins a couple of years ago in that first round, the quarterfinals. But again, not to wish ill will on anybody. But as a Ranger fan, I mean that did kind of help us prevail in that series, not having Crosby around for Game 6 to push that back to Game 7. But anyways, getting back to the whole thing, it just the last year in the playoffs, I didn't think he played particularly well against Carolina. I don't think he played particularly well against Florida, and the whole drama over the summer, with and the getting traded to Detroit, and then he rejected it because his wife had residency in New York, and it got ugly. For his wife's position, you could just tell it was just something was off there. So I think it was time to move on. I think it was time to move on from Jacob Trouba. And to be honest with you, with the NHL salary cap, I know it's going up substantially next year, but this year it was so tight. But at least now the Rangers get the relief, and they don't have to worry about. They can make a couple of big time moves at the trade deadline to try to position themselves to reshape their team and hopefully make a run in the playoffs. We'll see, but let's just get there first. But because right now the team's been shit for the last month and a half or so. So is this the beginning of the reshape? And it is. And so Jacob go Trouba to Anaheim. You've been with the team a little over 6 years, buddy. Best of luck to you. You'll be in better weather, but it was time to move on. And let's just hope the Rangers can continue. From like I said, I just hope the New York Rangers can continue to reshape and move forward. And which leads me to the next thing I want to discuss: Igor's contract extension. The other thing that was clearly lurking over the team this year. Igor Shesterkin's whopping contract extension. 8 years, 92 million. It's about 11.5 million annually. which makes him the highest paid goalie in the NHL. Listen, without him, we don't get by the Carolina Hurricanes last year. And without him, the series against the Florida Panthers wouldn't even have been as competitive as it was. I think over the years, just like Lundqvist, they've grown to rely on him probably a little bit way too much. But was it a move that needed to get done? Yeah, he's your franchise goalie. So, albeit he's been a little inconsistent this year. But at the same time, the defense hasn't been great. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of issues overall with the Rangers play, but there's times where Igor's bailed them out. So he's the franchise goalie. Yeah, I mean it was a lot of money, but I mean but my only concern with this is he could suffer the same fate as Henrik Lundqvist, where we gave Lundqvist a whopping contract extension. His play enough was going to get us to the playoffs, but we just didn't have enough to overcome the hump, to get over the hump. So, was it a move that had to be done? Yeah. But I don't know if over the course of his career, if he's going to suffer the same fate as Lundqvist did, where a lot of playoff runs but no cup. And unfortunately, I have that same feeling with Igor that I have with that happened with Lundqvist. But hopefully, I'm wrong. Like I said, I know the cap goes up this year or at the end of this year for next year. I know that with them trading Jacob Trouba, it allowed them to extend Igor and also save the money this year for a move or two they want to make because the defense sucks. I mean, let's face it. I know Igor is extended, but I mean, another guy that I think should be on his way out is Lindgren. I think he's overrated. I just don't think he does much of anything. He gets hurt a lot, and I mean, he plays hard, but again, it's just I don't know. Hey, we got to do something. The defense is the reason, and also the fact that Mika's been very bad this year. Kreider hasn't done much. Trocheck hasn't done much. So it's just time that we start getting more production out of those guys. So, but Lindgren will probably be out. I would not trade Kako. I would not trade Lafreniere. I would not trade Enstrom. Some of the younger guys. I wouldn't trade Hedel. The young youth on the team is actually holding up and playing relatively well. So that's what leads me to believe that, keep these guys. And unfortunately, what's killed us this year has been the defense. The young wingers have been pretty good. It's just the defense has been bad. The goaltending's been a little inconsistent. And the big money wingers, the Trochecks, the Panarins. Well, Panarin's been decent, but the Trochecks, the Kreiders, the Zibanejad, who's been a big culprit this year. I've gone to my friends. I've killed his play this year because he's what has happened to this guy? I mean, my God, he's terrible. I don't know. He just forgot to play, but it's just this Mika. It wouldn't even break my heart if we trade Mika. I don't think we will because I don't think anyone's going to take him. That's an unmovable contract. I'm actually surprised we got a taker for Trouba. So, but anyways, so lot of hockey left. It was good to see that they beat Pittsburgh on Friday to break up the losing streak, and we'll see what happens moving forward.